That means DZ is the favored team to win this matchup. J9O the first kill, and the Monty will rush on in. Beaulo somehow wins it. You gotta go quickly. Time is not on your side. He finds one, J9O finds the other. Those crosses you said held by DZ, they do not work out. They know NJR's position. He's made this imminently more winnable. NJR and Benja in a 1v1, and NJR is the one with black ice in his veins.
And you can see from the lineup of the Soniqs, it's going to be a utility-based game from them as well. You're bringing in the Flores, you've got Buck, Ying, as well as Nomad. You're trying to lock up those outside doors and kind of set a foothold on these outside windows. You can use this execution utility, not only that, but also obviously the Flores drones to kind of make your life easier initially before you actually have to hop in the building. But it's going to be immediate and aggressive from the Soniqs. Canadian already with a frag. Surf playing patiently on the rappel. He'll catch one too. Canadian double duty. The case going down as well.
Yeah, it seems like this one's all tied up, especially as Ambi cuts down Kobe. Unfortunate entry for the newbie on DarkZero into round one. They go for the master bedroom defense, and the Soniqs make mincemeat of it. Beaulo left alone on that top floor. Soniqs don't even break a sweat this round. Almost everybody with a kill outside of Rexon, who remains alive. Beaulo really unable to find a way back. Soniqs are going to be watching that hatch, and they're watching the staircase. First round goes their way on the attack, on an offsite maybe, but still a good foot to place forward for Soniqs. With the Monty in play, seems like they might create a lethal setup momentarily.
He just has such a solid system, and it's something that, I mean, Canadian is one of the IGLs through the history of Siege that a lot of IGLs base themselves off of to start and then try and work their way into their own favor, right? But as of right now, it's going to be Soniqs battling up against DarkZero once again and coming out on the proper side, at least for an instance, but then Bo wakes up. Kobe with a nice kill as well. Grixer will bring it back into at least some decent straights for himself, but it was essentially a 1v3 there. We'll find that initial kill down to Kobe as well as NJR to try and get this one for DarkZero.
He can certainly recover the diffuser here, I believe. He's got that drone watching the other angle. DZ are playing this well. They're biding their time. That intel now being relayed because of that bulletproof will be instrumental for DarkZero to close out this round. Grixer might make it deeper into the site, but he's lost so much of that advantage on time he had. If he comes up off this diffuser, he can take the fight with Kobe as he swings around the corner, but the Bandit plays it so safe. Grixer instead gets scared and falls off, and DarkZero play passive again. He might face check, but he takes a whole lot more damage than he deals out. Switches to the pistol, but only 2 seconds left, and NJR, ever the patient man, will give DZ their first. But Canadian's actually made his way down, in a position for a bit more minimal and direct take.
So solid from the Soniqs so far, taking their time. That's the biggest thing. You can see how they're doing such a bang-up job of working around this shield. Rexon has a nice find onto NJR because they have to try and make something go off here. He's going to have at least an additional find here from Soniqs, but as for DarkZero's case, it's not looking too hot as of right now with 3 versus 2. Canadians got the Monty still in play, and this case is asking to be placed.
I mean, Rexon's got the vertical angles covered. He only has to worry about the players in front of him, one of which, obviously, as we can see inside the B site, the other more over towards delivery. It's that latter player they just get intel on. They've only got 30 seconds, so not long on time, but Canadian will fall back. Even's got the smoke canister to shield his position. This diffuser should be able to go down successfully. No impact grenades to speak of, no C4s in sight. Instead, one player on DarkZero goes for the retake up top, and Panda tries to flank around back, but as the Malusi dies next to him, he's blind to the very player in front. It's the Monty when the smoke fades. Not the kind of thing you want to see when you're 22 health and stuck in a 1v3. Canadian will back off, just relaying intel to the rest of his team on Pambazoo's position. Nobody needs to peek right now. And once he does, it's with exact intel relayed by Canadian.
As we move on here deeper into round 4, Ambi with a nice angle here from the bathroom, worried about Kobe over inside a bar. Kobe just needs to play his time here. This is something where we can try and delay things a little bit longer, just make sure they don't get too much control down low. Even though that isn't the main bread and butter for Sonic's strategy here, it's definitely something where they'll be a little annoyed. Have a good heat check on this, though. This check coming in from the drone should be an easy frag here for Ambi. And yes, indeed, Kobe just not privy to that information coming in on his location.
Pretty liberal utility usage from Soniqs, but you can't deny that it goes to good effect. You might be thinking, oh, you really want to use that Firebolt just for that? But it gives Ambi the security to push in and then actually go for that kill on the Legion inside of or outside of Barbecue. So really good stuff. They're able to take down the smoke on Black Stairs too. They have removed so many obstacles to a direct take for T and Karaoke. The only one remaining is that player close on the T doorway, just to the left of Black Stairs entrance. If they can remove that player, Pambazu, who's already fallen back and worried about players maybe going for a backstab, Soniqs have a way into this to get their third round on the attack. If they're able to pick up that diffuser, move in, and keep Pambazu shut down in that position, it could land very, very well. Ambi still has all 3 of his death mark trackers too. If he wants to go for a backstab or just relay intel to his team, he can very easily do so. One goes out, it spots the Warden, not the player playing close, but instead far on the T side. The Goyo spotted 2 inside of Geisha. They're able to land the kill and the Firebolt to isolate him too. The guns have come alive for the Soniqs. And these first 2 play days, and the coordination is just even sweeter. Could be Kobe to do that. Then again, the solo roam he went for him, it made him easy pickings for the Soniqs last round. He's a bit closer to the team this time. He is that Vigil that we're the only DarkZero player we can actually see on the drone right now. He's been spotted. Activating the ERC won't do you much good, especially as he's been tracked by Rexen. A heater this man has been on. I believe he had, what, 15 kills at the end of the game yesterday, and now on with 7 up until this point. Yeah, 15 kills yesterday, 22 kills through the first 2 play days, and Ambi not far behind him this one, tying with Rexen with 7 with that kill. Another death mark tracker goes out. Beaulo on the drum. Doorway is forced back because of 1 and I believe 2 grenades, but NJR supporting him is able to take down Surf. As the hard breacher tries to wrap around through the Geisha wall. There's the urge to be aggressive here, and Ambi, I think getting a bit overly so, just walks in and, well, that MP5, when it's looking right at you, is pretty easy to make good work with.
Most definitely. Good recoil, solid damage, and those are 2 favorable things, especially for a guy like Bo. Some big kills from him. Out of the 3 versus 3 here, and some solid positioning from Soniqs, but biggest piece of this puzzle is how in the hell do they try and work their way over into this office space? DarkZero still have control of Dragon. They have the whole back end of this site locked up tight. This is going to make things difficult for the Soniqs to try and proceed. You can see Pamba as well as NJR is still here. NJR, no nitro cell in pocket. I do believe that's gone, but we'll just have to see. As for Pambazu, though, going to be sticking around with another Goon Mine as well. And this is going to be something that really assists them with Canadian still being on that Monty.
That's big right there. The death mark fails. Soniqs likely trying to want to power a particular player to get that man advantage as we reach 15 seconds left, but as it regenerates, he gets it now, but they get the kill a different way. Grixer just wins the heads-up challenge. Rexen follows it up onto Beaulo. Hits the quick reload, flips the revolver, and a second kill for Rexen at the end of that one.
Soniqs looking like, at least initially with this first ammo, they want to try and go for this top floor clear across, get some pressure working in on this extension here from DarkZero, but DarkZero desperately need this round. Things are not going to break open properly, at least for the Geisha single, and that's going to make things a little bit more complex for Soniqs if they do want to try and transition through there, but Surf is going to be able to assist with this issue and make the bottom portion a crouch hole. Now, the big thing is, how does Soniqs want to try and use the rest of this clock? It's 5-5, at least going into the last minute and a half. We'll see if I'm wrong in the next 6 seconds. So Ying will go in from Canadian, and Ambi trying to push on top of that as well.
Yeah, it's been a Monty push every single time that Soniqs have attacked this site. Now in the final time, the 3rd time DarkZero have tried it, they changed things up. Instead, Canadian goes on to that Ying, the Ying and the Grim combo. That DZ under Canadian, I think, were quite famous for really pioneering in North America, at least back when Grim got a lot of those nerfs. I think in stage 2 of last year was when we saw DZ under Canadian bring these 2 operators and use them quite effectively in tandem. Nade goes out, Pambazu gets ahead of it, challenges it. That's exactly what you want to do in that situation, especially if you got the aggressive instinct that Pambazu has and the gun skill to boot. A 2-piece on opposite sides of the bomb site. Puts the diffuser outside on the balcony where Ambi has to recover. You've lost that Ying. So much of those Candelas burned and the execute now lackluster. Ambi sort of by himself on this side as Grixer and Surf might be together, but away from the case.
Soniqs still looking for a moment here outside. They need to try and find something, but Pambazu, he's thwarted a lot of this so far, and DarkZero looking to be at least in better straits when it comes to round 6. Kobe, Solid position here, but he's not able to land his shot, and Surf will gun him down. He finds another 2, and oh no, there's no way. 15 seconds remain. What's going to happen?
Okay, hold on. Let's not get ridiculous here, okay? Grixer and Surf are stuck on this side, right? They can coalesce with, oh my god, they can coalesce with Ambi, but Pambazoo cuts him down. That kill doesn't happen. I think we got a very different ball game on our hands. But a Pambazoo 4K is a necessary and sufficient condition for DarkZero to only get 2 rounds on their defensive side. And they go to T Karaoke first. We only saw it 1 time from DarkZero on their defenses, and it came in round 4. Exhibition Office 3 times, but only once for what many consider to be the primary bomb site on this map. Soniqs go to it first.
It's a good call. A little default moment here for them, and oh, we're going to see something. Yeah, right?
I had no idea what he was vaulting on for a second. That was such a long vault animation for the table.
For a split second there, my brain just calculated things like it was old skyscraper, and I was just like, what is he doing? No, nothing he's hopping on. Probably just like the couch in there or something. But
it's like the table to the left of the window or something, or I don't know, the couch or whatever it was. An elevated surface to the left of the window.
Something like that. He's got a random just Keurig sitting in there on a shelf. So it's gonna be Soniqs though, with a more aggressive defense, at least with that. I think it was just putting a piece of utility up there. We'll see if that does come into play, something like a bulletproof or something along those lines. They got a nice little angle here to watch this. Kobe is going to end up opening up the main wall. It's got a Goyo canister on it, so you'll still have that Banshee to worry about as well. But Bo is going to go down as he hops into a frost mat. Nobody picks him up, but I lied. Canadian's going to get his 2nd kill of the round, or at least what it said, but I feel like it's betraying me, and it has. It's actually going to be Bo and NJR are the only ones to go down, so it's a 3v5 for DarkZero.
And Nate just tries to rappel in through the karaoke window by himself. Nobody really able to support him. I mean, maybe Kobe on the long angle to shut down Geisha, but Nate really alone there, just trying his best to bring that 3v5 into something more manageable. But it just shows the dire straits that DarkZero and Pambazoo throws the Candela, tries to fake it out, doesn't work at all. Flawless round for the Soniqs and their defenses. Quite literally the best round we have seen on defense from anybody this game so far.
Really want to try and put the right foot forward, get that initial frag. And how's Nave going to try and solve this problem? He's essentially taking up Canadian's role as of now. You know, you got the shield in, got this Monty going on. And if you guys have noticed as well, Kobe has essentially taken over what Nave was running before. So this is going to be a little bit of a change up for them, obviously, and going to have some growing pains too. And I mean, that should be something that everybody was more than aware of, especially with Kobe working his way into the rosters the first time that he's been inside of pro play. Always going to be some growing pains with that. We see some strike hotter than, you know, others, but as for Kobe right now, it's going to be something that is a little bit more complex, especially with a map like Skyscraper at his disposal. This map is just known to be difficult, really no matter what way you slice it, especially when your opponent is somebody like the Soniqs, who just has so much talent packed inside. Ambi, speaking of that talent, is going to show face, and he's going to rip off NJRs.
Just nothing going their way right now. Monty obviously has pushed inside a top house, but Soniqs 2 rounds in a row now, able to get a quite dominant lead in the early game. The Monty not finding any success.
No way.
You gotta be kidding me! Ambi with a 3K just wraps around, and DarkZero are left scrambling. Heads in their hands. I know Nafe certainly is. Kobe all the way outside of Terrace, and what is he to do? Diffuser separated by a reinforcement and 2 defenders, 2 immediately to the right, and a Malusi Banshee to let Soniqs know that he is not sitting outside. Match point for Soniqs, 6-2.
Slow and steady for DarkZero. Much like the DZ of old. We'll see them continue to try and wrap themselves around this main drum area. And this is the thing that impressed me so much on the Sonic side for their offense. It's just how quickly they were able to solve all of these puzzles. And yeah, now they're going to be able to pick up Rexon, but Surf's already taken down Nave as he goes for a pretty aggressive play, I have to say, in through the breach there. I'm surprised he didn't, you know, recognize that he'd more than likely get punished. But either way, Beaulo makes things a little bit easier on them, and as he hits a very nice shot and is able to take down another player of the Soniqs. But the timer is starting to dwindle. And with Surf still in play, this is going to be the next big moment here for DarkZero, and they'll pass that one with flying colors too. Where does this case go down, though? That's the next big question.
It is, but it feels like it's got to go down at some point. This round has to go DarkZero's way. 2v4, and both defenders in a bit of a difficult position, though I'd say Ambi might be the better of the two right now. If anybody drops down or moves down a staircase, they might leave this bar position unchecked, whereas it's Grixer, especially pushed so far up, that will likely be checked. He's looking towards the stairs at the moment. Ambi instead found first. No. Somebody going for the diffuser.
No way.
Somebody's got to be watching. The
Please
Capitão's not looking.
No way.
1
Somebody
second
please.
left.
No
He's
way.
won the game! 1v4! Canadian stoic Grixer giddy as Soniqs steal a dominant win from the jaws of DarkZero.
I do like the new attachments, though. There's a lot of options that people have, but Ashen might be removing his option in this game pretty quickly. If he gets into a gunfight, it's Beaulo on the other side of this barricaded door. Beaulo, does he know that there's a player right here? He knows that there's some pressure, and absolutely the intel is perfect. Pambazoo will come in, baiting from Beaulo to get the kill on Ashen. A brilliantly executed little opening pick, and it starts off well for DarkZero. 1-0, they dodge the Nitro Cell as well as DZ hunt for their first successful attack of the stage. This is off to a very good start. SSG have no players below. It's full solar control for DarkZero. They can go for a Monty plant inside of Master. This is a great positioning. Benja finally turns one around, then as Monty gets aggressive, it's not going to be Master. He's charging into Piano. Takes a bit of damage. The Nitro Cell goes off to destroy their own shield. Forrest picks up NJR, and this round has quickly devolved. There's only 2 defenders left alive on the side of SSG. DarkZero, plenty of time to play with. Can they slow this down and finish off these downs, or are they going to stall out with only 35 seconds remaining?
The question becomes, are Benja and Forrest retrievable at this point? Fultz and J90 will need to be the two to make that determination, as Forrest looks like he might just be out of reach. Fultz, though, getting on the board, not really too concerned with his teammates, as it's down to a 2v2. The numbers favoring SSG. Forrest has now been picked up. Kobilax looking for a kill on a J90, and he will find it. Nave with one on to Benja. Fultz and Forrest still up, as Benja had bled out earlier on, and now the assault from Solarium will occur, as both Nafe and Kobilax are on so low HP, but Kobe firing back. Down goes Forrest. Fultz will need to clutch out. A kill on to Kobilax, and Nafe pulls off at the final second, but Forrest wins it, and he lets, well, you know what, hang. A bit of celebration in the server as Space Station wins their first round in the first round. For a moment, move away from operator picks and instead talk about these operator ban rates. Monty and Blitz leading the way, with Ying also receiving a healthy number of bans. On the defender side of things, it's been Tubrow and Azami leading the way. Obviously, with these shields being as strong as they are, won't necessarily see them as often in this matchup, but they are always a good choice. Halfway point of the round, and the Bees are swarming J90.
Certainly clearing this top floor, always the first objective when attacking kitchen and dining. They're going to start to circle in on them now. Pambazoo taking some damage, not willing to commit just yet. They got to play a big window. The Grimbees are helpful, but they've yet to finally capitalize. There's one to J90, but it came at a cost. NJR, the opening death of this round. Forrest sticking around here, trying to go for a bit of a flank, but it'll be Benjamaster who falls as well. Ashen and Piano also struggling for his life. Can Ashen make it out at all? So many of these top floor players have just been decimated by the clear of DarkZero. They've taken down every single player up on the top floor except for Fultz, who now has to clutch a 1v4.
Fultz will start with the pick on to Nafe. He's got limited HP on both Kobe and Pambazoo, but Kobilax gets the job done.
It seems like Kobe is much more comfortable here in this second match where they're playing against SSG when he can play that Deimos. That's an operator that historically Pamba has loved for DarkZero. But to see Kobe picking it up and having so much success with it is really, really nice.
Undoubtedly. And the first one to tussle will be Kobilax. As he and Ashen toil, Ashen has to get out of there as quickly as possible. Hunted down by Grimm's gadget, and Pambazoo will be in pursuit. But he's swung on by Benja, as they didn't realize on DZ's side of things that Benja was over in bathroom, and he jumps out and gets Beaulo as well. SSG laughing about that one. Ashen has plenty of time to type as he's bleeding out in the hallway. Gets picked right back up. Nafe and NJR now. That's all that's left for DarkZero. Benja hasn't relinquished control. He's got that rotate, and NJR can get baited in. Benja loses the fight. NJR wins. There's no follow-up from Ashen. SSG have given up control of Piano, but they know that NJR is creeping up ever closer as the Banshee gives his position away. towards the door frame now. Jiggle peeking across. A nice line of sight onto Fultz. A smoke will cut off some line of sight. NJR could have had a kill, but won't go for it as we hit the halfway mark, and he seems to be in a bit of a stalemate in this position.
Now's when we get to see, do SSG bite off more than they can chew? It's what Fox was talking about in the pregame desk. They will down Nafe. He might be able to get picked up. Again, plenty of time. Never mind, he's dead. That's going to be a great round from Space Station, and I love the restraint.
SSG sitting pretty with these mute jammers. Not just denying intel for DarkZero, but also causing some frustration as Hibana, the lone hard breacher for DarkZero, is not able to get the job done on those castle barricades.
So Nafe's job here is to clear out the mid floor. He sees Ashen now on the Vigil. No boss sheets, the K1A this time around. Some shots come through the soft breach. Again, it was the opening pick onto Ashen in round 1 that really opened things up for DZ and allowed them to go for that solar push. It'll be Ashen's job to maintain control of down below. Benja actually finds the opening pick onto Pamba, maybe from a window up on that top floor. Ashen's in a really good spot where they don't have a lot of players available to push him out of this spot. So they kind of have to decide, are you going to commit to clearing Ashen from below, or are you going to just let him be down here and pray that he doesn't have a massive impact later in the round, those impacts?
Ashen still lurking. Down goes Ashen to Kobilax, so he's found out, and there's Nafe inside of the bomb site with control and 1 minute to spare. As the objective play from DZ starts to go, Benja stops it in its tracks with a nitro cell. SSG can now just hold off for the time being. They've lost Fultz inside a bathroom as Beaulo still has yet to make his way into the building. Much to the chagrin of SSG, they now find themselves in a 3v3. But on the ground, waiting for somebody to peek Solarium. That's SSG's next chance to strike. Will NJR give him something? For the time being, bullet tracers will go. Black Mirror is there. Benjamaster. Some damage is done. J9O's finished off as well. Forrest suddenly finds himself in a 1v3. He's the one on the ground, looking long range, but he cannot get the final kill. DZ wins all of their engagements and picks off the remaining players from Space Station to win their second round. I am curious to watch the evolution of this DarkZero team without Canadian, though, because what you'll end up with is you'll end up with a team that might be a little bit faster than what you see out of Canadian's typical squads. Already, DZ has shown some speed on this particular matchup, and they've only had a couple rounds to really get it going. They'll move to defense, though, in 2 rounds. Things will likely slow down on their end. Trying to work their way now into Solarium. Fultz is in serious trouble on the stairs, dodging grenades as they're tossed in from DZ.
There's 4 nades that got thrown at him. He survives all of them, but he's at about half HP and he's not in a comfortable spot. Again, Kobe's holding the angle from the basement, so if his Spalt goes too far down these stairs, he will get killed by Kobilax. So he's in a tough spot, but at the end of the day, I mean, he's still holding on to this. He doesn't need to move. They've used all of their nades. He's the one that can hold this with a shotgun. He's going to be favored if anybody tries to swing in. I don't know what the best move is to actually clear him out of this position. Maybe you could throw some bees at him, but you might just have to give it up and try to clear this top floor in some other way, and that seems to be the game plan from DarkZero. We'll see a lot of their players rotate over towards lobby. It looks like they might be trying to get that opened on up. The glass makes me think it could be a dining execute just because that's often how those glass pushes end up going for them. But we'll just have to find out. Now you're seeing these players like Beaulo rotate around to other angles of the top floor. Faults is such a problem on those solar stairs that it's really making this clear very, very difficult.
Kobilax, no! Unloads the sidearm, can't get the job done. He gets finished off by a bit of sloppiness. Benjamaster on the board. Forrest will follow, taking down Nafe. That's the Glaz and the Deimos out of action. NJR on the upside down rappel now watching over the windows, attempting to isolate these remaining SSG players. Pambazoo dies, so NJR will have to get off that position at some point and be a bit more of an active combatant. It's Bolo's turn to get in the building. He takes some damage from the goo mine as he heads his way on in and is shut down by J9O from above, and Forrest will seal the deal on the round. DZ do not have a chance to win this first half. They will fight for a 3-3 scoreline as SSG will pick up their third round and seek to close out with a lead heading into the second half. In terms of denial on the side of SSG, you've got a mute on the board, so that mute jammer will at least slow down the information that DarkZero can collect. That's obviously best case scenario. The other alternative is that it stops it in its tracks. a lot of denial that was brought from SSG in previous rounds. You saw those mute jammers were actually used on castle barricades, which forced DarkZero to either use explosives you couldn't use elsewhere or actually melee them, putting you in harm's way. Didn't really slow DZ down, but this is a team that oftentimes has no issue slowing themselves down. You just saw that little nitro boost of the drone there, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. It's another new addition in this season of Rainbow Six.
It's a fun one, being able to zoom around with your drones, of course, but for DarkZero, they're going to need more than fast drones to clear out Faults, who's in the library corner. Such a powerful position. Often you'll see players play this on maybe Wamai. Sometimes you'll see it on a dock. He's actually rocking it with the mute, meaning he's going to have to leave pretty early. He does escape with the vast majority of his HP, so a little bit of util expended to get him out of here, and he'll drop with no other issues. This is going to be a pretty direct push coming from DarkZero. Already Diffuse Kit entering in through lobby, but Nafe opening death to J90, and Faults finds another. This push, it was supposed to be so clean. It was supposed to be right under their noses, but SSG, they sniffed him out.
Yeah, some difficulties there getting closer to the bomb site. Faults is taken down by Pambazoo, who has been quite good for DZ so far. It'll be all up to him, basically, as he's the player with the best rating still left on DZ. NJR will find an opening, taking down J90, whose back was turned towards one of the last two players from DarkZero. NJR and Beaulo both upstairs in the library portion of this map. Bomb site, though, is down below. NJR retrieves the diffuser and will now go for a flank through the garage, all the way back up the stairs. Mint looking over his shoulder quite intently. DZ announced some new coaching additions, and while we don't expect an immediate impact in the first game, you have to hope, if you're a fan of DZ, that it will begin to generate some improvements over time. SSG gets the final 2 kills in very quick succession. And the first half is in the books. SSG comes out ahead 4-2. If you're Space Station, you're very happy with this result, as you're looking to keep DZ at the bottom of the standings. DarkZero, Wildcard, and OXG all sit at the same position right now with 0 points. But due to the fact that OXG and Wildcard have played 2 matches, it's DZ who sit alone at the bottom. They've got their work cut out for them here, but they're hitting their shots, both Pambazoo and Kobe Lax. With Kobe getting 2 inside a bar. This is not the bomb site, by the way. Hovering over top of it and doing some serious damage, and SSG might just be in a death spiral with only Forrest and J90 remaining for the final minute and a half of action.
The Clash is going to be seeing J90, and this is an absolutely horrible position to find yourself in, as I'm sure all Rainbow Six players are aware. A Clash watching you in a 2v5, there's very little that they can do. Maybe they can get some kind of a flank going. Forrest is in the hallway just behind J90, more towards Big Garage, so they're not likely to get behind this Clash unless there's a massive misplay from NJR. It's pretty rare that he makes those. So with a full minute to go, we'll see what they can work with, Parker, but I'm not favoring their chances in this one.
Yeah, especially when one of those is the Clash, who will continue to do a great job of delaying this SSG team, allowing the other 4 players from DarkZero a ton of information. And J90 has to be very careful about a flank from West Main. It doesn't look like DZ are quite intent on that just yet. J90 will rotate all the way around the map, all by his lonesome. No flank needed. He will bring the flank to them. But DZ give him no quarter right now. Hunker down inside of blue, end by wine. Final 30 seconds, and DarkZero are in great position.
Still, this execute's going to be so low on time. They've both rotated over towards the lobby side now. There's a flank up the snow stairs. That could be enough to end it from Kobe. Nah, he gives his life up instead. Forrest is ready for it, but still the man count seemingly unwinnable. Forrest, some nice shots, but the Clash will make this so scary. The Lamau from Kobe Lax, and finally Pamba for the final kill to come on out.
Nafe is still looking for more than 1 kill. He's got 0 since the rehost. He got 1 kill back in the first round, if memory serves me correctly. So not exactly the ideal situation for him, but Nafe is not usually on those aggressive roles. He's not necessarily the person that DZ relies upon to light things up. That person is typically Pambazoo, and he's doing the job. And not only is he getting the job done, he's actually outmatching Ashen, which, if you talk to a lot of North American League players, Ashen is quite formidable to deal with. as DZ gave themselves an early advantage with that pick onto Ashen and have just been sitting and waiting for SSG to do the job that the attackers need to do. DarkZero starting off with 2 victories on defense would completely blunt the momentum of SSG. Kobilax saw the shield of the Monty of Forest charging on in. Now it's up to Benja to finish him off. Fultz technically is credited with the kill, but there was multiple players from SSG involved in that altercation. Now back upstairs, Space Station will go, but the bomb site's kitchen. So you've got to take control of this top floor. There are still some players from DarkZero lurking around, and once you can get that done, then you can focus on the bomb site.
Massive pressure on J9O. It's going to be his job to stop the plant denial from above. It's full top control from DZ. So as the smoke plant comes out with Forest on the Monty, it's going to be a horizontal hold being played by both Benja and Fultz. Sorry, just Fultz. And then it'll be J9O and Benja up above to stop a vertical plant denial. We'll see how it goes.
There go the smokes. Nafe dies, joining Kobilax. Fultz watching as Forest, it's the halfway point of the case. Beaulo with 1 kill. More of the floor shot open. Forest can't get it done. No! Unfortunately for Space Station, they have not controlled that top floor enough, and DZ have struck gold. Diffuser now in the hands of Fultz, who picks 1 pick. Down goes NJR. It's Pambazoo in a 1v2. As Benja tries to find the Malusi, Fultz will once again go down, but the timer's at 0. If Pambazoo can knock them off their guard, they'll win, and they just get it done. Benja Master was able to be an entry on G2 when they won the 6 Invitational back a couple years ago, and they did it because of Benja's play. I mean, not just because of Benja's play, it was a team effort, but it was a huge part of it. So bring him in to SSG. Well, that's good news for them on their aggression, but you gotta have Ashen finding that level as well. SSG now have lost the plot. They've lost that momentum. They still have time to make something work. You noted that this used to be a very attacker-sided map. If you're SSG, you have to hope that you can make it attacker-sided, because if the defenders have an advantage, that means DZ is the favored team to win this matchup. J9O the first kill, and the Monty will rush on in. Beaulo somehow wins it. Forest gets dropped. Beaulo doing Beaulo things, and DarkZero has now equalized in terms of man count.
That's the reason many people consider him the GOAT. Unfortunately, finally traded out by Fultz. But I mean, he dealt with the Monty. That's the most important operator on the SSG lineup. It's the strongest attacker in the game. And with a 3v3 on the board, he might be enough for the team to lock down this defense. It's going to be Kobe, Nath, and NGR to hold this down. They are all near sight, if not in sight. Kobe's on the staircase, so a little bit off on the other part of the map. NGR returning the favor, the same line that Ashen gave him a couple of rounds ago.
This is Benja just fishing for a kill now, but you got to go quickly. Time is not on your side. He finds one. J9O finds the other. Those crosses you said held by DZ, they do not work out. They know NJR's position. He's made this imminently more winnable. NJR and Benja in a 1v1, and NJR is the one with black ice in his veins. The lead goes to DZ.
Speaking of Nafe on that 2-brow, it's crazy how much success DZ are having with Nafe barely touching the scoreboard. He only put up 2 kills last week, and he will continue to put up not very many kills through this game, but you can tell he's having an impact with that IGLing ability, with that utility that he's been brought out. It'll be a 1-for-1 trade. His death does not go unpunished, with Ashen also falling on the Deimos in this round.
We're about to hit the 1 minute mark. Other than Ashen dying and Nafe dying, Nafe again having quite a miserable game. The pressures of taking on a roster and becoming the sole IGL can often impact your ability in-game. I don't know if that's quite the culprit here, but yeah, rough going so far from Nafe. Kobilax gets caught walking by J9O. And down he goes. The advantage in numbers goes back to SSG as the execute is about to begin.
A lot of pressure on NJ and Beaulo. 2 strong guns in their hands, a shotgun and a TCSG. Pambazoo, if he needs to be not baiting here to come back later, he's given up dining control, but can he retake it in the nick of time?
It's a great question. Here's Pambazoo potentially to the rescue. He'll drop from the hatch. Evades all the eyes of SSG as they get the plant down successfully, but J9O is caught over in connector, and Pambazoo is looking for more. Over towards the open breach. One directly to his left. He's spotted, but he still wins the fight against Fultz. Forrest and Benjamaster now as SSG used to have a numbers advantage. It's all gone. It's in the hands of DarkZero. NJR picking off Forrest means it's Benja to watch over this diffuser. Easy looking for 4 in a row. Benjamaster's the one who stands in their way. All he needs to do is find these last 2 picks or wait out on time. Beaulo flattens him, and Pambazoo on 6 HP gets the diffuser. Easy. Match point. For the record, Spacestation entered the day tied for first with Soniqs. This is a team that is 2-0, so a Spacestation loss in regulation would be surely very frustrating for their own expectations.
They're not out of it yet, though. Kobe takes so much damage, 95, but he escapes back to the comfort of his teammates, not able to pick up that frag. It would have been huge, an opening for SSG to get started on this comeback. A jump out into a Claymore will be just as good as Jade, I know, gets credit for the opening frag onto Pambazoo, trying to make an aggressive move. I like that exothermic charge as well, not only giving you some vertical angles, but also opens up into office to some extent. Really like to see what they can do with that. They'll be opening up the dining wall now, though, and this is going to be likely where the plant will come on out. They've got 2 smokes, not in the pocket of faults, but being brought elsewhere by these players on SSG to try to make that execute go down. The problem they had when they attacked this bomb site last time was Pambazoo on the top floor. That's not going to be an issue any longer as he jumped into a Claymore. So can these other players up above, Nath, Kobe, and Beaulo, deny the plant in the same way that Pamba did? Or is this going to be a change in result where SSG can finally get that plant down and the dining executes?
Yeah, losing your biggest player, not exactly what you want. And DZ will need the rest of this cast to do some serious work. I was just praising them moments ago. NJR, the first kill in that execute. Nath killing Kobe Lax, though, is not what you want to see, especially with the matchup on the line. It's all up to Benjamaster now as the rest of SSG has been vanquished, removed from action. Nath and Beaulo to win the matchup for DarkZero. They've got 30 seconds. Benja's on attack. He does not hold the diffuser. It's been surrendered over by Office and will need to be retrieved. Benj is attempting to fake them out. He'll run into the Zoto canister, which has frozen the doorway, and will give some information now to DarkZero as they continue to peel off, and Nath has a huge round. That's his first kill, he says. That's one. That's one. And that's all he needs. Sometimes the impact kills really are all you focus on. DZ wins 5 in a row. And the matchup is theirs. They prevail over SSG, Jesse.